Shae Russell here, editor of the Daily Reckoning Australia. And today I thought we'd have a chat about precious metals, more specifically silver. Now, I don't talk about silver a lot. Gold tends to hog all of my attention and my analysis, pretty much what's happening in the gold market, in US dollars and in Aussie dollars. And as a result, silver sort of gets left by the wayside. That doesn't mean silver isn't an important precious metal. In fact, arguably, as I'm going to talk about later in this video, silver, given that the price that it's at now, around 22 Aussie dollars per ounce, is looking very, very cheap. Now, as a result of this, I've been taking advantage of that low price, and I've been personally stocking up on more silver. One of the things I've been doing, though, is I don't really need any more minted or cast bars in my life. So I've been looking at sort of acquiring more unique types of poured metals. Basically, what they are is when you're not getting cast bars or minted bars, when you're looking at coins and more ornate types of silver, sometimes the premium's a bit higher. Now, I don't buy fancy looking gold. When I do buy gold, I keep it very simple and try to get it as close to spot. But because silver is so much cheaper per ounce, this is where I'm willing to pay the premium and buy more unique types of silver. Now, I had the guys down at As Good As Gold Australia actually track down two particular types of silver bullion for me. One of them is the Jaeger's poured silver 5-ounce cube. It's just something a little bit different that I thought would be really cool. And then also to the Scottsdale Tombstone. Now, I've actually got a few Scottsdale bars, and if you are looking for more interesting types of silver, highly recommend the Scottsdale bars because they are quite interesting to look at. Also too, I'm desperately trying to get my kids more engaged with what hard money is. And I find sometimes if the way the silver comes, if that's just a little bit more interesting, I might have more chance of making them understand the role that precious metals play in our monetary system. Now, I'm just also on that, before I move into what's happening with the silver market, a lot of people email me asking what bullion dealer should they go through, who should they talk to, where do they start? Now, I do have a free report on how to buy gold and silver, which I will put in a link down below. But when it comes to a bullion dealer, the most important thing to remember is that you want to pick somebody you can trust. Now, even though the guys As Good As Gold did track these precious metals down for me, I want you to know I'm not affiliated with them in any way, nor with any other bullion dealer across Australia. Now, I do regularly get asked if I would like some sort of referral incentive program through any of them. I refuse to do that. I simply go to people who offer good service and that help me track down the sort of precious metals that I want. So if you have something in mind, I always suggest finding a precious metals dealer that is willing to help you and go that extra mile. Because at the end of the day, precious metals, it's very much a fixed market. You know, there's not a lot of margin in gold and there's a lot of not a margin in silver. So you may as well find a bullion dealer that you like dealing with and that you enjoy dealing with. And then you will find that they will go out of their way to track down hard to find types of precious metals for you. Now, let's move on to what's happening in the silver market, or what really isn't happening in the silver market. Silver's been stuck at $22 an ounce, or between $21 and $22 an ounce for a while, and it's been quite dull. Now, I was talking to a precious metals investor late last night. He's based over in Switzerland, and he's quite bullish on silver. And what we were discussing last night, he said basically right now that the broader market, in his view, is treating silver still as an industrial metal, that the switch to seeing it as a precious metal hasn't yet occurred. Now, he does believe that it will flip. He said one of the problems, though, with silver is he said that when it does flip, it tends to have very dramatic super spikes, which makes it a lot more of a volatile precious metal to hold. One way investors can try and take advantage of the coming spikes in silver price is to consider the gold to silver ratio. Now, the gold to silver ratio is quite simple. It's how many ounces of silver would you need to buy 1 ounce of gold. Right now, the gold to silver ratio is sitting at 89. That means you would need 89 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. I'll also just point out that's in US dollars, based on US dollars. So when it sits around anything generally above 70, when the gold to silver ratio sits at 70, means that silver is very, very cheap in comparison. So sitting at 89 is one of the reasons why I've been personally buying more silver, because it tells me that silver is quite cheap in relation to gold. Now, to put this in perspective, the historical average going back over 100 years is actually 50. So silver going off the gold to silver ratio is very, very cheap in comparison to this historical average. Furthermore, I did hear from a couple of different investors recently that if you were to flip those silver ounces into gold, you generally want to do it when the gold to silver ratio heads to 40, nearing that 35 mark. Now, we haven't seen a gold to silver ratio between 35 and 40 since the 2008, just as in the aftermath of the financial crisis. So right now, to me, silver's looking super cheap. And if you do want to buy gold and silver, look out for a gold bullion dealer you can trust and somebody that's going to provide great service, because at the end of the day, they tend to all sort of price match each other. That's all from me today. I'll be back next week with more.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for more video updates. Plus, right now, you can get a free guide to investing in gold. It's called The Best Way to Buy, Sell and Store Gold in Australia. You'll learn how to decide on what type of gold to buy, which Australian gold dealers to trust, whether you should buy bullion or ETFs, and the best and cheapest way to store your gold. All you need to do to get your copy is to click the link in the description below or go to thedailyreckoning.com.au/gold.